Hello YouTube, today I'll be going over the input function in Python. So the input function allows you to prompt the user to enter some sort of unique information, and then that information will be stored in a variable, and then you'll be able to do something with that information, which allows applications and software and programs just to be unique for every single user. So in order to in order to use this input function, you first have to give it a variable to be assigned to. Let's say, for example, I don't know, just call it A, and then you set it equal to input with empty parameters for now. And since I'm working on the Python shell, this will just be line by line code. So I won't be writing any applications today yet, so just stay tuned for that. Okay, so now that I've hit return, it doesn't go to the next line as it normally would. It gives that little hovering cursor icon thing, whatever, and that lets you know that you can actually write something in. So let's just make this like 100. And now if you call A, as you see, it gives you the value. It gives you the value of it, which is 100. But as you can see, because of these quotations, the value of A is actually a string. So it's not actually 100, it's actually a string that just says 100. So you can't do math with it. For example, if I were to do 20 plus A, it wouldn't allow that because there we go. Because you can only add integers and floats, and you can't add strings. So yeah. Now I'll show you how to turn that into a integer or a float later. But for now, I want to show you how you can actually prompt the user for an input with a statement. So in your input parameters now, put a quotation like you would print something out, and add your statement. So for example, enter your name, and I just like to put a colon and then a space after that, just to make it neat and let the user know that they're going to enter something. So now that you hit return, as you see here, it says enter your name, and if you write something, I don't know, just the architect, whatever, then now if you were to call for B, it's the architect. So this is how you add a prompt to your input function when using your input function. So this allows, with this statement, this allows the user to know what they're actually supposed to input. Now, so what I want to show you also is how, when using the input function, you can automatically turn this, if it's going to be a number, into either an integer, which in my last tutorial I said is just a number without any decimals, positive or negative, and then or into a float, which I also said is just any number. It could have decimals or not, it could be positive or negative, so it's pretty much any number. So let's make this variable C, and to make this an integer, first you use these you type in int with parameters, and then inside that you write in what you would normally do, input with parameters again, and then for example, if you want, you can add your prompt like enter a number. So if you hit return, it prints out enter a number, and say I add 25. So then if I call for C, as you see, it's now a number because your first clue is that it doesn't have any quotations around it. And if you just want to test it out, you can add it. So for example, C plus 5, and then it returns 30 for you. So to turn this into a float, it's pretty much the same deal. You can, instead of writing float with parameters, instead of writing int with parameters, you just write float, and then again input, and you can add a statement again. So make that like enter any number now. So I could enter any number now. 123.5, and if I call for, that's D, if I call D, then I get 123.5, and I could add that too. It's like plus 123. Oh wait, no, right. Let's see, that makes more sense. Nope. D. There we go. So you know that's a number variable too. And the last thing I just want to show you is when you were to, if you were to try to ask the user for an integer, but they input a float. Don't you just hate when that happens? But say you make a variable that's supposed to be an integer, right? And say like enter an integer. There we go. That's how you spell it. So and you ask enter an integer, and the person gives you a float. And don't you just hate that? It returns a whole big error, and it's just really annoying. It sometimes might crash the program or whatever. So when you're not sure what the person is going to do, whether they're going to add an integer or whether they're going to input an integer or a float, you might as well just go with float and then convert it later on if it checks out to be an integer. And I'll be teaching you how to do that in a future tutorial. So just for now, again, I just wanted to briefly go over the input function. If you don't understand anything yet, don't worry. Again, I'll be covering this in future tutorials. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and check out our website.